Yo, what's up, pals? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Okay, today we're learning Daf Chaf of Masechta Berachos. Really cool daf, actually. First, we're going to start off with some kind of more story, agadic, light kind of stuff, somewhat related to Kiddush Hashem and purifying, making holy God's name, and zealousy and stuff. And then we're going to get on to a new Mishnah, which is going to be interesting because it's going to discuss mitzvahs aseh shezman grama, the chiyuv of women in mitzvahs deoraisa when they're time bound, which is kind of an interesting discussion. So yeah, that's what's on the agenda for today, and let's do it. Okay, we're going to start in Daf Chaf, 4 lines into the Gemara. So here we go. Amalei Rav Papa Abai. Oh, so it says Rav Papa to Abai. Ma'ishna Rishonim Disrachish Lo Nisa, u'Ma'ishna Anan Delo Misrachish Lo Nisa. Oh, super interesting, right? What's the deal? So Rav Papa asked Abai, how come in the earlier generations miracles would happen for us? Yeah, for us we don't see any miracles. Like, what's the deal? If it's because we don't learn enough, that can't possibly be. Rav Yehuda, in the generations of Rav Yehuda, now Rav Yehuda was a second, if I'm not mistaken, was a second generation Amora. He was a student of Rav and Shmuel being first generation Amoras. So Rav Yehuda was a second generation Amora. Now Abaye was sort of a contemporary of Rava. I think they were like 4th generation Amoras, right? So I think what he's saying is like, what's the deal? Like during the days of Rav Yehuda, they would have miracles, and we don't have miracles. And if it's because we don't learn enough, well, during the days of Rav Yehuda, right? Kule tanuye b'nezikin hava. All they would do is basically just learn nezikin, bava kama, bava metzia, bava basra. Varan kamasninan shisa sidre. We're mamish learning all of Shas. We're learning shisha sidre mishnayos, not just nezikin, everything. Vaynashim, moed, everything. Rav Yehuda beuktzin, haisha shekovesh zerek bekdera, v'amila zeizim shekavshim betarfein tohorim. Rav Yehuda, if you would get to one of the more technical parts of Torah Sheba'al Peh, such as a woman who's pickling vegetables in a pot. Okay, I'm not familiar with that, but I guess it's Indian in Tyrus. Or some say olives that you are, pickling them with their leaves, then they're taharim. So that one, Rashi explains what that means. That basically means that, okay, there's an Indian in Uktzin, right, that has to do with yadayim for ochlin. So for example, like an olive can become tameh, right? It's ochlin, right? This has to do with tumah. We're going to get there, I think, in the 8th parak, we're going to get shtickle to tumah, but basically, tumah's ochlin. So if you have something that's a rishon l'tumah, it can be metame food to be a sheni l'tumah. Now, so let's say, I don't know, you have a guy, let's say you just have a guy who, he touched a dead body, so he's an avatuma, let's just say, and then he touches somebody else, that person becomes rishon l'tumah, and then that guy touches an olive, let's say, okay, so that olive becomes a sheni l'tumah, and it's tameh. Now, what happens if this guy who's the rishon l'tumah didn't touch the olive, he touched the leaf of the olive, which of course was connected to the olive. So because you could pick up the olive via the leaf, so the olive itself becomes the sheni l'tumah, even though you didn't actually touch the olive, you touched the leaf of it. However, if you pickle the olive, and now the leaf already becomes such that if you try to pick up the olive from the leaf, it'll just fall off. You'll just end up plucking off the leaf, but you won't be able to pick up the olive. So in that case, if you touch the leaf, the olive remains tahor because it's not a viable handle anymore. But what all of us now just discussed, Rav Yehuda had no clue. He would not know how to answer what happens if you touch the leaf of an olive when you tried to pickle it. He would say, Avayus de Rav Shmuel kachazina. He would say, these are the kashas that my Rebbeim, Rav and Shmuel would ask, i.e. hard stuff. So Rav Papa is saying that basically in our generation, we're more learned than the earlier generations, or at least the scope of our learning is broader. Yet, right, and yet when it comes to uksin, right, which is what we just discussed, these inyanim of Tumah and Taira, we have we can explain them in 13 different ways, right? So in general, Masifta is like a yeshiva, right? But Rashi explains that in this context it means different ways, right? Rashi says, "B'tleisa Masifta b'yud gimel panim yesh beinenu Mishnah uvraisa shel shisha sedarim u'meseches uktzin gamhi b'yud gimel panim." Right? You go on Mishnahs Rabbi Chia, Mishnahs Bar Kapara, Valevi, V'tanat Vishmo. He says we have 13 ways of understanding uktzin. Okay. Yet, with all of that, Vilu Rav Yehuda ki avashalav chad mesane asi mitra. Ve'anon kametzayrina nafshin u'matzvach katzavchinan v'leis demashkach ban. Yet Rav Yehuda, if there was a drought and they said, okay, we have to fast so that we should get rain. By the time he already took off one of his shoes, right? Because of course on fast days we don't wear leather shoes. Before he even got to the second shoe, he just took off one of his shoes. All of a sudden it started raining. And yet us, we're mitzayir ourselves, we pain ourselves, we cry out. Nobody pays attention to us. So Amarle, so Abaye says to Rav Papa, Kamoi avu kamasvin avshai v'akdushas Hashem, onon lo masvina nafshin akdushas Hashem. He says, you know what the big difference is? You got it wrong. Yeah, sure, we can explain Masechta Uktzin in 13 different ways, but that's not the point. It's about the fact that in the earlier generations, there would be Moser Nefesh for Kiddush Hashem, right? When it came to making sure that the name of God remains holy, they were shameless, right? They would when it came to making sure that God's name remained holy, they would do anything. One time Rav Ada Bar Ahava was a student of Rav. Now I think in this context, a kusis is probably somebody, I think we're assuming somebody who's not Jewish. So he saw somebody who's not Jewish, and she was wearing a karbalta b'shuka. A karbalta was basically some kind of a red dress, and I guess at that time it was considered suggestive. I have a feeling nowadays it would be considered very tsanua. But in any event, at that point, there was a woman who was wearing this thing that was this very suggestive clothing. Savar Devas Israeli, and it was red. I guess the problem was that it was red. And Rav Ada Bar Ahava thought that she was Jewish, and he thought, a Jewish girl wearing such a provocative article of clothing, so come karimina, and he tore it off of her. And I guess tearing it off of her was more appropriate than keeping it on her. Now, it's possible that back in the day, sort of suggestive clothing, we would sort of laugh at that. It's possible that was just sort of the top layer of many layers of clothing, and therefore by tearing off this red thing, she was still, wearing all sorts of clothing. Or maybe the point was that, even though I assume that tearing this off would make her probably even more suggestive, but maybe the point was that she won't do it again next time. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, Igloi Milsa de Kusisi, but in the end it turned out that she wasn't actually Jewish in the end. She was non-Jewish, and I guess that makes it okay for her to wear this. So Shaimua Ba'arba Me Zuze. So they evaluated that the amount that her embarrassment was valued on financial terms to be worth 400 zuzim, to be embarrassed. So in general, I think when we have things like this in the Gemara, it's basically, how much would a person be willing to accept in order to endure that kind of shame, right? So in this way, they've evaluated that a person would be willing to accept $400 zuzim in exchange for experiencing this kind of disgrace. So he paid up. So he paid her the amount of her shame. So Amar La Mashmech, and then he said to her, okay, what's your name, if I may ask? Amar Le Matun. And she said to him, my name is Matun. And he says, okay, Amar La Matun, Aramea Zuze Shavya. Got it. It's your name that caused me to get into this mess. Your name is Matun. Mea is 100, Matun is 200. So he said, Matun, so 200 plus 200 is 400. It's the name that caused me to do this. And Rashi says that there's a different explanation that says it's a lashon hamtana, matun, to wait, to be patient. If only I would have just been more patient to not jump the gun, I would have been 400 zuz the richer. Okay, interesting story. Now, the stories are that's just the beginning. They're getting even more interesting. Rav Gidl have a ragil, the avaka'azov yosef ashari de tvila. Now, Rav Gidl, he used to like to sit outside of the women's mikveh. Okay? Amalu, and he would give them tips. Hachi tvila, vachi tvila, he would say, you should go to the mikveh like this, go to the mikveh like that. I don't even know what kind of tips there are. How can you even go to the mikveh? You just go and you go out. But anyways, he liked to hang out by the women's mikveh and give the women all sorts of tips. Okay? So the Rabbanan said, Rav Gidel, aren't you like a little nervous, about the Yetzer? I mean, you're standing outside the women's mikveh. Aren't you concerned that maybe you're going to have a Yetzer Hara for one of the women? So Amalu, he said to them, Damin ba'pai ki ka'akei chivare. They are similar in my eyes like white geese. I.e., just like I'm not attracted to white geese, I'm also not attracted to these women. Okay, said it. And I guess that the women appreciated his advice. I don't know. Rabbi Yochanan, or maybe not. Who knows? Rabbi Yochanan and Rav Gidel wasn't the only rabbi who would sit outside the women's mikveh. Rabbi Yochanan would do the same thing. His logic was that, if when the women are coming out from the mikveh, some stomach after they go out of the mikveh, then they can be with their husbands. So he figured if they go out of the mikveh and they look at me, then they'll have children as beautiful as me. Which I guess is like similar also to like Yaakov Avinu, right? With the whole thing with the sheep, right? He had some kind of thing where they would look at certain things, and then they would have offspring based on what they were looking at. So maybe there was like a similar logic over there that Rabbi Yochanan figured, right? Because we say the Gemara in Bava Metzia says that Yochanan was a very, very beautiful person. So he figured if the women look at him after they get out of the mikveh, so they'll have beautiful children. And I guess if all the Jewish women are having beautiful children, this will be a very beautiful nation. So he was doing a service to Am Yisrael. Okay. So the Rabbanan said to Rabbi Yochanan, aren't you worried about the Ayin Hara? You're basically, what's it called? Like showing off the fact that you're so beautiful, right? You're basically sitting there so that people will look at you and you're so beautiful, and then they'll have beautiful children. Aren't you worried about like the Ayin Hara? And so, I don't know, maybe something will happen, you'll become less beautiful. So Amalu, he said to them, nah, me, Ayin Haras, not concerned. Ana mizari de Yosef kasina. I am a descendant of Yosef Atzadik. Lo shaltabe ein abisha, that the Ayin Haras don't affect the descendants of Yosef Atzadik. Tichsiv, Ben Paras Yosef, I think it means a very fruitful child is Yosef. Ben Paras ale Ayin, he is a fruitful child above the eye, I think, although I could be wrong about that translation. But the point is, he is above the eye. No, meaning, sorry, he is a very beautiful person upon the eye. So don't read it upon the eye, above the eye, meaning he is above the Ayin Hara. Ayin Hara doesn't affect descendants of Yosef. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Chanina Amar Mehacha, Vidgul Erov Bekerev Haaretz. It says by the bracha that Yaakov Avinu gave to Ephraim and Menashe, it says that you should be plentiful like fish among the land. Madagim shebayom, ma'im mechasen aleim, vein ayin hara sholetes b'hem. Just like the fish in the sea, the water covers them, and therefore you can't see them. So also the children of Ayin Hara, I guess, doesn't rule over them because they're covered by the water. So Yosef and Ayin Hara sholetes b'hem. So also the offspring of Yosef that are compared to fish, so the Ayin Hara doesn't affect them. Viba Yisema, or if you want, I will say a completely different reason. Ayin Shelo etzesol lazon mimashenu shelo in Ayin Hara sholetes bo. The eye of Yosef that was not interested in getting any kind of sustenance from that which wasn't his, i.e., the wife of his master Potiphera. So then the Ayin Hara is not sholet upon him. Now there is a Hagos Habach that says that how come. One second. Yeah. So the Hagos Habach says, how come they asked Rav Gidel why isn't he concerned about his Yetzer Hara, and they asked Rabbi Yochanan why he isn't concerned about an Ayin Hara. What about his Yetzer Hara? So it was actually there's a Gemara in Bava Kama. It also comes up in Tainus, I think it says. But anyways, there's a Gemara in Bava Kama that describes Rabbi Yochanan that he was so fat that his eyelids would cover his eyes, and they needed toothpicks in order to open his eyes. So he wasn't really concerned about the Yetzer Hara because he couldn't see any of the women anyways. But the Ayin Hara he was concerned about. I guess that it was in style then to be like so large that you couldn't even see. I guess that is pretty impressive, right? All right, cool. So, okay, this is an interesting Mishnah. So before we start this Mishnah, let's mention a few things. This thing I think is kind of basic. I assume that everyone probably knows this, but I'll just say it anyways. D'oraisa, of course, means that there is if somebody is chayiv in something d'oraisa, it means that you are chayiv on a Torah level, i.e. the Torah says that you're chayiv. If you're chayiv on something midrabanan, it means that, no, the Torah doesn't say that you have to do this, but the Rabbanan said that you should do this, i.e. the rabbis did. So it's not in the same level as something that's midoraisa, but you are still chayiv to do something midrabanan, and you have to do it. Next, there's something called a mitzvah aseh she'azman grama. That means a mitzvah aseh. Okay, there are two kinds of mitzvahs in the Torah. There's mitzvah aseh, mitzvah lo aseh. Aseh means that the Torah said, do such and such. I don't know, what's something you should do? Kabeda savicha v'esimecha, right? Honor your father and your mother. That's something that you should do. Then there is a lo ta'aseh, such as lo ta'aseh kol melacha. Don't do melacha on Shabbat, right? So that's a mitzvah lo ta'aseh, okay? So mitzvahs lo ta'aseh, men and women are chayavos equally. All mitzvahs lo ta'aseh, everyone is chayavin. When it comes to mitzvahs aseh, there's a distinction. There's something that's called a mitzvah aseh she'azman grama. A time-bound mitzvah, right? A mitzvah aseh that is caused by time. Grama means to cause, right? So it's caused by time. So Kriyas Shema would be an example of that. You're only chayiv Kriyas Shema from Misha Yakir, from the time that you could see your friend from 4 amos and recognize him, until 3 hours into the day, right? It's a specific time that that you're chayiv for Kriyas Shema. So that would be an example of a mitzvah aseh she'azman grama. Now, mitzvah aseh she'azman grama, women are not chayavos in mitzvah aseh she'azman grama. Cool. Another distinction. Avadim, an Eved Kanaani, right? A non-Jewish slave. A non-Jewish slave is obligated in any mitzvah that a woman is obligated in. A non-Jewish slave is equally obligated in. Okay, cool. And any mitzvah that a woman is not obligated in, so an Eved Kanaani is not obligated. Okay. Next, a katan, a child, is not chayiv in any mitzvahs, right? Until they reach bar mitzvah, right? For a girl, that would be 12 years old. For a boy, that would be 13 years old. It's actually a machlokas in the in Masechta Nida. There, I think it's maybe Rav Shimon Gamliel, I don't remember, but it flips it around actually to say that boys would be 12 and girls would be 13. But anyways, okay. Now with that introduction, let's do it, friends. Nashim v'avadim k'tanim p'turin mikriyas shema u'min ha'tefillin v'chayavim b'tefillah v'mezuzah v'berkas hamazon. Oh. So the Mishnah says that women and avadim Kanaaniyim, that non-Jewish slaves, and minors, children, are p'turim from Kriyas Shema. Okay, fine. U'min ha'tefillin, okay, from wearing tefillin. V'chayavin, they're obligated in to do tefillah, to daven, with mezuzah, and putting up mezuzah, berkas hamazon, and benching. Okay, very good. Now Rashi says something very interesting. The first Rashi on the Mishnah says, "Dinashim p'turos midoraisa." It's really interesting that, I don't know, like patur midoraisa implies that women would be chayavos to do these things on some other level. I don't know, but I mean, I don't think it would mean that women are chayavos midorabanan, because the Gemara is going to ask the kasha on that. But I don't know. It's interesting because also, famously, Rashi's daughters apparently wore tefillin. So I wonder what Rashi's opinion is regarding the chiyuv of women on mitzvah aseh she'azman grama. Even though he clearly says that women are not chayavos midoraisa, but women may be chayavos. I don't know. Would that mean derabanan or on some other level? I'm not exactly sure. But it's an interesting point, I think. Okay, says the Gemara, Kriyas Shema Pshita. Obviously, women. Okay, so now the Mishnah said Nashim Avadim Ketanim, women and Avadim Kananim and children, but the Mishnah really, the Gemara really focuses on the chiyuv of women here. So okay, so Kriyas Shema Pshita. obviously women are not chayavos to say Kriyat Shema because mitzvah aseh shezman grama, v'chol mitzvah aseh shezman grama nashim peturos, because Kriyat Shema is a mitzvah aseh that is caused by time, right? You're only chayav from Misha Yakir, from when you can recognize your friend until 3 hours into the day. It's a specific time frame for it. And we know that women are pturos from mitzvah aseh shezman grama. So the Gemara says, yeah, but ma'u detemo be'izba malchus shamayim kamash milan. But I may have thought, which is super interesting, that I may have thought that even though, sure, Kriyat Shema itself is a mitzvah aseh shehazman grama, and women would be pturos from that mitzvah, but there's an aspect of the mitzvah which is kabbalas o malchus shamayim, right, which is something that's relevant to everybody. So therefore, I might think that because of Kabbalas o Malchus Shamayim, women would be chayavos in Kriyas Shema in order to be Kabbalah o Malchus Shamayim. Kamash Milan, that no. Kriyas Shema is a mitzvah aseh shezman grama, and for that reason women are pturos. Uminat tefillin, women are pturos from wearing tefillin. Pshita, of course, women are pturos from wearing tefillin. Again, ma'odetemo ve'iskash l'mzuzah kamash milan. There's a reason why we might think that they would be chayavos, and that is because tefillin, right, in the first paragraph of Shema, it says ukshartim lo sayidecha vayilu totavos beinenecha uchsavtam hamezuzos b'secha v'shrecha, that the juxtaposition, the smuchim, the juxtaposition of tefillin with mezuzah would mean that just like women are chayavos in mezuzah, women are also chayavos in tefillin. So kamash malan, that women are pturos from tefillin, because tefillin is mitzvah aseh shezman grama. We don't wear tefillin at night. We don't wear tefillin on Shabbos, etc. Okay, fine. Mitfila, women are chayavos to daven. Drachme ninu. Oh, very interesting, because tefillah is mercy, which is very interesting, because you might think that it's mitzvah aseh shezman grama because it's only, let's say, for the first 4 hours of the day. I think we paskin shachris, let's say. So I guess I would think that women are pturos, but they're chayavos because it's rachamim, because it's mercy. Which, going back to like the whole Kriyat Shema thing, like I may have had the argument to say that women would be chayavos in Kriyat Shema because of the aspect of Kabbalah Malchus Shamayim, which we see that by Tefillah, women seem to be chayavos because of the aspect of the fact that it's rachamim. Although Rashi does also point out, I didn't really quite understand this Rashi, but that tefillah is also midrabanan, which might be a factor over here. But I was a little bit confused by the Rashi because, like, the Gemara says it's because it's rachamim, and then Rashi is also saying also it's derabanan. But if women are chayavos midrabanan, so then they're chayavos because it's midrabanan, not because it's rachamim. Like, meaning a halacha adin derabanan. Then, however, the Rabbanan wanted to apply it, they can apply it, and for whoever it should be relevant to, it should be relevant to. So, and I don't see why it should have to do with Rachamim. But in any event, the Gemara says that because Tefillah is Rachamim, therefore women are chayavos to daven. Now, the Agos Abach says that you can skip the rest until the two dots, so we're going to do that. Weiter. Uve mezuzah. Women are chayavos to put up mezuzah on their doorposts. Pshita, of course. Why would women be pturos from putting up a mezuzah? It's not a mitzvah aseh shezman grama, it's just a regular plain old mitzvah aseh. So of course women are chayavos. So ma'odetema, what about the habit to say? Holveskash the Talmud Torah kamash malan. In the parsha of Vaya im Shemoah, it says v'limadtem osam es b'neichem v'dabribam b'shivtecha b'visecha v'lechtecha v'derech v'shachem b'chav v'kumecha uchsavtam ha'mezuzos b'secha v'shrecha. It juxtaposes putting up a mezuzah on your doorpost to studying Torah, right? And the Gemara in Kedushin talks about that. It says v'limadtem osam es b'neichem v'lo b'nosechem, right? That you that you will teach your sons Torah, not your daughter's Torah. So therefore, women are ptuos from learning Torah. Therefore, I might have the havminah to say that women would also be ptuos from putting up a mezuzah on their door. Kamash malan, that women are chayavos to mezuzah. But also keep in mind, just because somebody might not be chayav to do something, doesn't mean that there are no other extremely amazing values in doing such a thing, right? Meaning, the chiyuv of learning Torah is just one aspect of learning Torah. There's also the connection that you have with God through learning Torah, and the knowledge of God and of Judaism that you get through learning Torah. The technical aspect of whether or not you're chayav in something is just really a technicality when you think about the bigger picture. Okay, weiter. Berachos Hamazon. Women are chayavos in Berachos Hamazon. Pshita, obviously women are chayavos in Berachos Hamazon. You'll eat, you'll be satisfied, and you'll bench. That has nothing to do with time. So of course, women are chayavos. So ma'odetema, hol v'chasav b'seis Hashem lachem ba'erev basa lecho v'lechem b'boker tisboa k'mitzvah s'aseh shezman grama dami kamash malon. Right, but since I would have the havmina to say that we have a pasuk that says that when God gives you meat at night to eat and bread in the morning to satisfy yourselves with, so I might think that, like bread is on some level compared with a specific time of day, the morning, so maybe we should treat benching like a mitzvah s'aseh shezman grama, and women would be pturos, kamash malon, that women are chayavos to bench. Amar Vada Barahava, Zakta Vada Barahava, Nashim chayavos b'kiddush hayom, Dvar Torah. Women are chayavos to say Kiddush on Friday night. Amai, mitzvah s'aseh shezman grama, v'chol mitzvah s'aseh shezman grama nashim pturos, but Kiddush is a time-bound mitzvah. It's relevant, it's shaykh on Friday nights. So shouldn't women be pturos from saying Kiddush? So Amar Abaye midrabanan. So Abaye says that women, so when Rav Ada bar Ahava says that women are chayavos in Kiddush, it means only midrabanan. Amle Rava. So Rava says to Abaye, Vad bar Torah kamer. So question number one, didn't Rav Ada bar Ahava say that women are chayavos midoraisa? Right? So why are you saying only midrabanan? Now, just a note about Dvar Torah, sometimes when it says Dvar Torah, Rashi Dafka points out that it means halach l'Moshe Misina, like he did on page Yud Testament Beis, and in other places also. Yet over here, Dvar Torah seems to mean mida oraisa. So I'm not exactly sure when Dvar Torah means halach l'Moshe Misina or when it means mida oraisa. If anybody knows, let us know. Okay, fine. So Abaye says that women are only chayavos midrabanan, but Rava says that, but Rav Ada bar Ahava says that they're chayavos midoraisa, not midrabanan. Ve'od, and more so, kol mitzvah saseh nechayvinu midrabanan. Any mitzvah saseh, we will be mechayev women midrabanan, right? Meaning it's Abaye, if you're saying that, basically Abaye, you're saying, yeah, it's a mitzvah saseh shezman grama, therefore they're pturos. When Rav Ada bar Ahava says it chayavos, only means midrabanan. What are women always chayavos in mitzvah saseh shezman grama when midrabanan? Ela Amar Rava. Rather, Rava explains Amar Kra Zachor v'Shamar. We have two psukim that describe Shabbos in the Aseret Dibros. One in Parshas Ve'eschanan and one in Parshas Yisro. So the one in Yisro, I believe, says Zachor es Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho, and the one in Ve'eschanan, I believe, says Shamor es Yom HaShabbos L'Kadsho. So Zachor is like a mitzvah saseh of keeping Shabbos, and Shamor is the guard it, don't violate it. Lo saseh. Kol sheyeshnu b'shmira yeshnu b'zchira. So anybody who is obligated to guard the sanctity of Shabbos and not violate any halachas also is equally chayav in remembering it, and you remember it on wine with Kiddush on Friday night. And since women are chayavos in guarding Shabbos, in not violating Shabbos, so women are also chayavos to have the zachor of Shabbos, which is Kiddush. Zachreu alayayin, the Gemara in Pesachim says. Amalei Ravina the Rava. Ravina says to Rava, Nashim Berachos Hamazon D'Oraisa D'Rabbanan. So Ravina wants to know, are women chayavos to bench midoraisa or midorabanan? Now, didn't we just say earlier on the page that they are chayavos to bench? That women are chayavos to bench? So Rashi points out that I may have had the havmina to say that actually women would be pturos from benching because it says, right? You'll be satisfied in your bench, okay? So that seems to apply to everybody. But then it says, ala aretz hatova asher nasan lach, on the good land that I gave you. And just like when it comes to inheriting land of Eretz Yisrael, that goes based on the male lineage. So I might have had the havmina to say that benching should only be for men and not for women. So that is what Ravina is asking Rava. Okay. So the manafkamina. So the Gemara wants to know what's the nafkamina. Who cares if women are chayavos to bench midorais or midorabanan? Women are chayavos to bench. So la fuke rab midei chovason. The nafkamina is, can women be motzi rabim, many other people, their chiyav of benching? So now, what does rabim exactly mean? Meaning, okay, one way of understanding this would be that rabim, meaning anybody else, including, I guess, people would be chayiv midoraisa. So if you say So I guess that would be men. Let's say men are definitely chayav to bench midoraisa. So I guess we say that a woman is chayav to bench midirabanan. So I guess it would be a question: can she be the mimotzi other people? That would include men as well who are chayav midoraisa. Or is it possible that it even means just like anybody? Like, if somebody is only chayiv in something midirabanan, are they not able to be motzi other people, even if those other people are also chayiv midirabanan? I don't know, but it just says rabim. Like, rabim just seems to be pretty vague. But whatever this rabim is, the assumption is that if women are chayavos to bench midirabanan, they would not be able to be motzi rabim yidei chovasam. Okay. Yet at the same time, we seem to be assuming that this rabim is a deoraisa. These rabim, are people who are chayiv midoraisa. So let's go with that. So if you say that women are chayavos to bench midoraisa, well then if women are chayavos to bench midoraisa, well then they could be motzi this rabim, which seems to be chayiv midoraisa as well. But the amart. But if women are chayavos to bench midirabanan, well then I guess relative to the rabim who are chayav midoraisa, women would be considered to not be chayavos to bench, and therefore they would not be able to be motzi this rabim their chiyuv of benching. So that's an afkamina. If the difference between if women are chayavos to bench midoraisa or midirabanan would be if they can be motzi rabim yidei chovasan. So that's what we want to know. What's the halacha? Tashma, come in here. Be'emes amru. They said really in truth, ben mevarich la'aviv, a child can bench for his father. Ve'eved mevarich l'rabo, an eved Kanani can bench for his master. V'ish mevarechas l'bayla, and a wife can bench for her husband. Aval amru, but they said, Aval amru chacham, the chacham said, Tav me'er la'adam shishto avanav mevarichin lo. But a curse shall come upon a person whose wife or children are being motzi them in benching. Now, so I understand if we say that women are chayavos to bench midoraisa. For that reason, we're saying that a wife can be motzi her husband in benching, right? And what that means to be motzi would mean that she would read the benching word for word, and he would have kavana to be yotze with her. Okay, she would have kavana to be motzi him. He would have kavana to be yotze with her. So that would imply that she is chayaves midoraisa, and that's why she can be motzi her husband. But if we say that women are chayavos to bench midorabanan, well then how could a wife who's chayaves to bench midoraisa be motzi her husband who's chayav to bench mi? How can a wife who's chayaves to bench midorabanan be motzi her husband who's chayav to bench midoraisa? But then the Gemara says, yeah, but that logic is flawed. Who? Right? That same brisa that says that a wife can be motzi her husband also says that a child can be motzi his father benching. And clearly a child is not chayav in mitzvahs, right? Not on any level. Maybe mishum chinuch, at some point, but definitely not midoraisa. And yet we're saying that works. That brisa is talking about where this father or master or husband only ate a shir derabanan, right? Now to be chayv midoraisa to bench, it says v'chata v'savata v'rachta. You have to be satisfied. What if you just eat a little bit of bread, right? We already bench. If you eat it's machlokas of kazayis or kabetza, we say if you eat a kazayis of bread, you already bench, right? An olive's worth of bread, you already bench. So, but when you're benching after just having a little bit of bread, you're only chayiv to bench midirabanan, right? In order to bench midoraisa, to have a chayiv midoraisa to bench, you have to be satisfied. So here we're talking about where this man only ate a shear that he would be chayiv to bench midirabanan, and that is why his son could be motzi him. This brisa doesn't really tell us anything about what if the man would have eaten a shear deoraisa. Clearly then his son wouldn't be able to be motzi him, but maybe his wife could be motzi him. We don't know enough from this brisa, so I don't know. It sounds inconclusive. If women are chayavos to bench midoraisa midorabanan, I assume it's midoraisa. I mean the Mishnah says that I don't know. I assume it's midoraisa because mitzvah says say shelo azman grama, but it doesn't seem to be conclusive, which is interesting. Okay, weiter. Darsh of Avira. Rav Avira Darshan, Zimnin Amar La Mishmei Rabbi Ami, Zimnin Amar La Mishmei Rabbi Yasi. Sometimes he would say it in the name of Rabbi Ami, sometimes he would say it in the name of Rabbi Yasi. Maybe he got confused between the two. I don't know. Amar Malachi Asharis Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The serving angels said before God, Ribono Shalom, Master of the world, Kasav B'Sorascha. On the one hand, it says in your Torah, Asher lo yisafanu v'lo yikach shochad, that God, you don't show favoritism, you don't take bribes. V'lo ata nosifanu l'Yisrael, but you show favoritism to Israel. Tichsiv, Yisa Hashem panav elecha, that God will show His favor towards you. So Amar Loem. So God says, on the one hand you're right, but on the other hand, what can I do? Can I not show favoritism to Israel? That I wrote them in the Torah, that you should eat and be satisfied, and then bench. Already they're eating a kazayas or kabetzin already. They're benching. How can I not show favoritism? Favoritism to such amazing children. Okay, very, very cool. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. So you guys are spared from hearing whatever it is I wanted to say. So, gishmak. Peace out, friends.